Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this channel. In part 1, we witnessed the beginning of one of the most powerful stories ever told. A young man, beloved by his father, betrayed by his own brothers, and thrown into the darkness of a well. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a plan. And in part 2, that plan begins to unfold. We will journey through the palaces of Egypt, the depths of prison, and the weight of a dream that would change an entire nation. This is not just a story of hardship, it is a story of patience, of trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of how the most difficult seasons of your life can be the very doors to your greatest destiny. Stay with us, because the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam is a reminder for every single one of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not waste the tears of the believer. Let's begin. And in part 2, that plan begins to unfold. We will journey through the palaces of Egypt, the depths of prison, and the weight of a dream that would change an entire nation. This is not just a story of hardship, it is a story of patience, of trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of how the most difficult seasons of your life can be the very doors to your greatest destiny. Stay with us, because the story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam is a reminder for every single one of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not waste the tears of the believer. Let's begin. The Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam and the king's dream. In the last story, the pious man and sons, we saw how Yusuf alayhi salam was thrown in a well by his brothers and ultimately brought to Egypt, where he was brought by a noble prince whose name was Aziz. After some years, although Yusuf alayhi salam was innocent, Aziz's wife imprisoned the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Prison opened another chapter in the life of the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Here he met two prisoners. They were servants in the royal court who had displeased the king. Both of them had strange dreams, the meanings of which were correctly given by Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. One of them, a cupbearer, was freed and taken back into the king's service. One day the king dreamed that 7 lean cows were eating up 7 fat ones, and 7 green ears of corn were being replaced by 7 dried up ones. No one was able to say what this unusual dream meant. At that time, at the request of the cupbearer, Yusuf alayhi salam interpreted the dream. He explained that in the lands of Egypt there would be 7 years of prosperity, but following these 7 years of abundance, there would come 7 years of dreadful famine. The king greatly liked his explanation. There and then he appointed Yusuf alayhi salam to look after the granaries and made him responsible for providing enough grain to meet all needs during the foretold famine 7 years later. Yusuf alayhi salam had become the most trusted minister of the king of Egypt. The 7 good years passed, and then, as foretold by Yusuf alayhi salam, there came the 7 lean and hungry years, when no crops would grow and famine held the land in its grip. Back in the land of Canaan, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam and his sons were hit by the famine too. Therefore, the 10 sons traveled to Egypt in search of grain. When they came to the chief of the storehouses in Egypt, Yusuf alayhi salam recognized them. However, they did not realize that this minister, from whom they had come to seek provisions, was their own brother Yusuf alayhi salam, whom they had thrown into a dry well many years ago. Yusuf alayhi salam received them honorably and asked them about their family. Yusuf alayhi salam gave them an ample supply of grain and put their money back in their packs. The brothers made further visits. Ultimately, Yusuf alayhi salam revealed his identity to them and forgave them for their crime. He asked them to bring their aged parents. Finally, the family was reunited, and Yusuf alayhi salam embraced his parents and did them honor by making them sit on the throne, saying, "Welcome to Egypt, in safety if Allah wills. Seeing the splendor and high position of Yusuf alayhi salam, they all fell prostrate as a mark of thanksgiving and awe. This, Yusuf alayhi salam reminded his father, is the meaning of my dream, which my Lord has fulfilled. The dream that Yusuf alayhi salam had as a boy of the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars prostrating themselves before him had at last come true. And so, dear kids, what we have witnessed today is not merely history. It is a message sent directly to your heart. Yusuf alayhi salam sat in that prison cell, forgotten by the people, yet never forgotten by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you are going through a difficult time right now, if you feel trapped, overlooked, or alone, know this. Your story is not over. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still writing your chapters. Just as he elevated Yusuf alayhi salam from the bottom of a well to the throne of Egypt, he is more than capable of turning your pain into your purpose. So hold on, be patient, keep your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unshakable. Verily, with hardship comes ease. If this video touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear this story today. Leave a like, subscribe, and join us for more videos like these. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, and jazakumullahu khairan for watching.